That's cool. All right, we're here. Traveling vibration. All right, my brother. So, please put your seatbelt on so I can assure your safety in the vehicle.
We're good. We're good.
All right. So, what was your question? Oh, okay. So, like, what inspires me to give my sermons to my family?
Yeah. What
It's
drives
okay.
You,
So,
what
like,
drives you spiritually? That's what I want to know. What's kind of
Well, I mean, my connection to God. Well, and I participate in a form of African spirituality that is specific to my tribe and my family and my lineage.
your historic tribe, like
From Africa.
Where you are,
From Liberia. Yeah.
Specifically.
I'm Grebo. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, with that practice and with that understanding, I recognize that like there is one like a supreme creator deity, like you know what I'm saying, a God the Father, so to speak, right? And then there's also like a myriad of spirits and like a system essentially that organizes itself into physical reality as we understand it, right? And so
I went one more time.
Okay.
What organizes itself?
A myriad of spirits. So like from the one God the Father, right? Yeah, from the one being God the Father, right? Material reality organizes itself in a specific way, and that specific way is a relationship between what we understand as spirits or like concepts or like angels, and then which include like ancestors, like the elements fire, water, earth, ether, plasma, lightning, the cosmos, you know, and then different individuations of like conscious forms, like things that embody like greed or envy or pain or righteousness or virtue, in all forms, or like specifically love or specifically joyfulness. You know what I'm saying? So there's a cosmology. There's a wide variety of things, right? I'm a person that's understood as a Dibia. So like I live in between the spiritual world. Like by divination, this is only something that you would, if you like, they have to do the root thing, and it's like, oh, you're this person, and like, this is your.
Someone told you.
Yeah. It's like they did divination on me. They were like, yo, did you know that you have this? You have like essentially you're touched like by the Lord. Like you have to, and it's like if it's something that you don't answer, like, and if you don't like organize your life around, it could potentially destroy you. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But then
like destroy you and
like
way?
it's like
death? Or
consistent bad luck
or a wasted
like
life.
You know, yeah, like essentially like imagine like Dibias who don't accept their calling and don't make a settlement with the spirit. I would say a settlement with Agu to like be like, nah, like I don't accept this, you know what I'm saying, this gift essentially, like because you have a choice, right? What will happen is like basically on some Pirates of the Caribbean shit, like, you know what I'm saying, you eat the food, ash in your mouth, you get the new car, it crashes out, you know what I'm saying, your girlfriend that you love so much cheated on you, like your children, they hate you. You tried your best, you were really doing your best that you know how to terrible. You're always missing the mark, like, you know what I'm saying, no matter what you do, it's always fuck you, you know what I'm saying? That type of reality, right?
So you said now you put a name in there, right?
You said
Agu or something?
Oh yeah, Agu. Agu is a spirit of like manifested it's like the spirit of creativity or the creative fire or will of the world, right?
Okay.
Or like,
and it's controlled
like,
somehow by a
yeah, it's like okay, so like imagine that in the African cosmology, you can say that the one being, right, became all of the other beings, right? In an effort to know itself, right? It became multiple things, right?
Not
and set up
similar.
like not but like literally breaking itself into pieces, and forgetting that it was itself. It sets up the premise for life as we understand it. Right.
In the physical realm.
Like in the physical realm. Like, and this is still true amongst all things, right? But so and the spirits, the first spirits that came, that, you know, that emerged from that action or that intention are like the great primordial spirits that we can look to in any like traditional indigenous perspective, like has an understanding of a great deity and like beings that like carry out that deity's message, or like, you know what I'm saying, like work on behalf of it, like the spirits of the moon, and like there's a deeper intelligence. Sure. So like the manifestation of the deeper intelligence would be like those spirits, right? and then from that breakdown, and they're roughly like they're like ideas. You know what I'm saying? Like the force of goodness, like the force of darkness, the force of light, right? And then the intermingling of those forces in the spiritual and the metaphysical realm are like on the, or you could even say the imaginary realm, then kind of like sublimates into the material realm, right? Becoming what we as human beings understand as conscious reality and everyday life.
Yeah. So how do you what's the source, right? You said there was some divination done.
Yeah. So
how do you learn how,
So essentially,
what's the source of this?
Essentially, it's there are societies and schools, right, that organize themselves around the gifts that Dibyas have, and like it's a tradition that's been passed essentially from warm hand to warm hand throughout the generations. It's like, this is how we are mindful of the elements, and this is how we take care of nature, and this is how we steward ourselves and our people. And there's like a way to this, like, divination is more like binary, is close to binary computing, with the human brain as the processor, right? So it's a way of kind of like reading the fabric of the universe. It's very logical in its nature, right? It's just in an African language. You know that? You know what I'm saying? But it's not like divinate. It's not like woo, like in the way that Westerners are imagine like imaginations and like fairies. It's not like that. It's not like what you imagine. It's like, yes, what you imagine happens, and that's an aspect of it. But then another aspect of it is like, this is the computing possibility of all realities, right? This is all possible realities based upon the choices that you're making and the belief system that you're holding. These are the possible choices for you.
Interesting.
And then based upon what you're choosing right now, these are the immediate possible realities that are accessible to you.
Okay.
Right? And if you and then deeper divination, if you make these choices, then these types of realities become available to you, or you have an opportunity to step in. And then when it comes
to expand your consequence, or your
to your awareness, it's like it just gives you an awareness of what you're choosing. But for more of like the binary perspective, it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? You would have to learn how to read this reality in a similar way that computers read code. But once you understand the symbolic meaning to that, you can interpret like the probable reality and waveform patterns of things in space, right? Like it's most likely going to make this choice.
Deeper understanding.
Yeah, like, and you can see, like, because you can see the direction in which that being is leaning, right? Because their intention informs reality, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you intend to do something, and then your actions crystallize the intention. So like, that's a pattern that can be read if you're sensitive enough. You know what I'm saying? Like on a computing level. And so like African culture is the passing on of that computing capacity that is ran through the human nervous system, right? So like,
no one's ever told me about that.
Yeah.
Or explained it to me.
Yeah. I think my existence, I have the gift of Dibyaship on both sides of my family. And usually you only have it on one.
Okay.
So like, I'm some sort of, in like traditional or classical African society, I'm some sort of like arranged marriage child. But because we were born in relative darkness to our ways and our people, right? My sister and I.
You were born here.
Yeah, I was born here in America. Without I wasn't, because they would have did the divination at birth, and they've been like, yo, like, you need certain things right now, or shit's gonna get crazy for you,
right,
and like really intense in a way that you may not understand. You know what I'm saying? When you hit a certain age, so like, you're gonna do certain things right now. And both of my sibling, my sister and I,
path from birth.
Yeah, and so both my sister and I are like that.
Okay.
And it's just really cool. Like, it's just really cool to know and to understand. And it's been like a confirmation to me, because I've always had a particular just inkling about life and things. You know, it's like the way that I move in life makes sense to me now, you know? And like,
it kind of reminds me of the Enneagram. Have you ever heard of the Enneagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is sort of it kind of puts you in a category, right? Of how you understand yourself and how you interact with other people mostly. But what you're saying is it goes deeper.
It's like no, and it's not like a personality type thing. It's like the Dibyas divination is utilized for many things within African society, for example.
Okay.
So like if you want to make decisions, it's like, okay, should I get married? Where should I buy land? What should I do about our material resources? Where should I invest the money? You can utilize divination. People utilize that for all the things. But the people who do those things are chosen in society. So like when a child is born in African society, divination is done on them to understand what their destiny is and what their essentially what their potential is, and how the community can organize themselves to best support the potential of the child.
Wow. So
Right.
how you can understanding that.
Yeah,
within
what
the
is
community,
this unique spirit
there's
from
a
the
fit.
Creator?
Yeah, there's a fit.
What is this gift that has been bestowed upon us
Yeah, very interesting.
in the form of a human being?
Right.
How can we nurture this human being to its greatest potential,
right.
understanding what probabilities it comes in with? And so that is the nature of divination in terms of its function in our society in its purest form.
Interesting. And so how does that relate to spiritually? Because things I've heard about divination is sort of warned that it's a spiritual, dark spiritual.
Well,
comes from a realm, right?
Yes. That's a.
dangerous.
That's a.
Tell me about that, because
That's a. I feel like that's a Western opinion
okay.
of a thing that happens consistently in society within African society. Because remember, in the beginning of colonialism, the people who arrived to colonize Africa came 200 and 300 and 400 years before they made their first move and sought to understand who and what Africans are, and what we do, and how we relate to ourselves, right? Before there was any type of the existence of a transatlantic slave trade or like bloodshed and these things. And so part of that understanding comes with our connection to nature through our spirituality. Us recognizing the symbolic understanding of nature, having a codified system for it, and a way to relate with nature on a fundamental level of like vibration and pattern recognition, rather than like direct, I'm touching the ground and I'm tilling the soil so something is happening. Like, nah, like we can go in certain places within ourselves and understand the way that the geometries and the waveform patterns work and the symbolic understanding of the universe happens, and affect change and reality from that point, right? And build societies, build kingdoms, build communication networks, build transportation systems that are based upon those things, right?
So would you say there's a sense of deity within the human then, or within this?
It's a recognition of the mutualistic. It's a recognition is like God the Father is the source that I come from, right? And the recognition of that sacred relationship and how to honor it in everyday life, right? And that would be explaining that in a African, like the African cosmology in a Judeo-Christian lens, through that lens. And then and that would also include like recognizing Jesus, right, as like important and symbolic in the understanding of the way that like life happens, right?
So tell me about who Jesus is from an African perspective.
I mean, a person, a person, a deity, at this point, yeah, like you can even say entity, but that I don't. For Jesus, that doesn't really like, and even really like cultural icon, in that like like we recognize that like when human beings give importance to something, right, it becomes expanded upon. Like our gift, we have a gift in creating. It is our worship that deifies deities, right? And so because of that sacred relationship, anything that we choose to magnify as godlike
or glorified,
glory, becomes charged with our, becomes charged with our own divinity. We can see our divinity in it, and it becomes powerful. Because
you can like exalt it.
Yeah, you can exalt it, and it becomes this exchange. But that exchange, if you give that to something, it also becomes powerful. It shares in your power. It becomes in the most healthy of relationships in that way, a circuit that enlivens you and enlivens the thing that you exalt.
Okay.
Right? And so that is a sacred relationship, and that relationship is understood within African cosmology. Like if you worship the leaf becomes God.
Is it what you said, cosmology?
Yeah, like so that relationship is understood and recognized.
So here's the question that is begging me with where you're going is I'm curious what's the beginning, right? Because if it's reciprocal, is something eternal? Or
there's an eternal thing at the the term that I've learned for that is Chukwu Ikike Abayama, first principle, first cause, source consciousness, all of these names. God, for the Western shorthand. But that principle, right? That understanding is central to African cosmology. Like, and that is the place of unlimited energy, you know what I'm saying? Infinite knowledge, infinite awareness, infinite intelligence that, through giving of itself, you know what I'm saying, created this world, created this experience for me to become aware of it, right? Aware of the process and a conscious creative force along with it. Right.
So there's a life force, right, that has existed for long before you were born.
Yeah, long before. But I also recognize that as myself, right? So whenever I experience that force, it's not, it's not like, oh, this is something that I'm experiencing, like that's coming into me, or like this external part of reality. This is something that is fundamental to myself that I'm becoming more deeply aware of in this moment. And my experiences through connection with that intelligence is like the purpose of my life, right? And the
relationship.
The relationship is the purpose, the deepening, the strengthening, the understanding, the comprehending, and then also the acting in alignment with, right? The understanding of that relationship is the purpose of my life, right? And when I exist, and then to me, and this is just me now, right? This is just personal. To me, in understanding that, that's where true pleasure is, right? In like being that
uninterrupted relationship.
In an uninterrupted relationship, like, and in connecting with
the source of life.
Yeah, with the source of life, right? And to have that uninterrupted flow be reflected in all of my relations in reality.
Yeah.
Right.
So horizontally.
Yeah, horizontally too. Like it's not just this thing that I'm doing in the closet by myself. Like, nah, it's the
I mean, what you're saying is very, very relatable to the Christian, to the Judeo-Christian faith.
Right.
The only are you aware of what the scripture says?
No.
Okay. Do you mind if I share?
No, not at all.
So what you're explaining is a life force, source of life, or would you say that source of life is God? Would you say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So God the Father, maybe.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So there's an eternal being, eternal force of life called God in the beginning, and He created things over a certain number of days, 6 days. One of them being humans. The most glorious creation God ever made was mankind, man and woman. Is this Abernathy? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how to go from this one.
Yeah, it's all good.
But God created us in His image. We are to reflect Him.
Right.
We are to be in perfect relationship with Him,
right,
because He created us for His own enjoyment and His own glory.
Right.
Well, in the garden, after He created us, mankind chose to go their own way and break that relationship. Right? Because there's sometimes you said missing the mark earlier. Right? That's we are not God. There's a differentiation between God the Creator and the Creator.
And then us beholding God the Creator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as the created beings, we are right to want that relationship to be perfected. And yet we have been tempted and accepted a false way. disobedient way, a looking away from the perfect relationship. We looked to the temptation of our own glory. And so that broke a relationship with God. And God the Father has only one Son, begotten Son, who broke himself, left his heavenly realm, came to earth, lived perfectly in relationship to God the Father. This is Jesus Christ. Gave his life up, surrendered his own life, his own perfect life, and therefore earned the relationship back to God the Father. And it's Jesus who offers that relationship back to God the Father. So that's our understanding, and that's my belief. And it's my only hope is I know that I missed the mark. I know that I'm a man created in the image of God to reflect and exalt him and be in perfect harmony and relationship with him. And he gave his only Son to earn what I could not earn. And so that's my only hope for eternal relationship with my Creator.
Okay. Wow. There's some like great overarching similarities there. Like, I feel like there could be some very interesting conversations between like our spiritual groups in terms of like a deeper understanding. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when we talk about like the unification of our tribes, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, I think that it's important to recognize like the